Hello and welcome to Alive with Amanda. Today we're going to be talking about whether right now is a good time to start a group practice. This is not the first time I've talked about this topic or kind of discussed group practices. My focus lately really has been on group practice. It's been a really long time since I've even run a solo practice. I've had some iteration of a group practice now for 10 years. And so my mind is constantly on group practices and helping to evolve group practices. And I am going to say that what I share is like my own opinion, what I see out, what I read about. It's not like really specific to very specific markets or very specific people, right? Like I have done consulting with people who wanted to start group practices and they were making a ton of money, right? As a solo private pay practitioner. And I'm like, you're probably not going to make that much more money. Starting a group practice, you might see less clients. So if your goal is to see less clients, then sure, but you're not really going to make that much more money. I've talked to group practice owners that had like a really good structure, like they had maybe that for whatever reason, like they owned an office building and they had like two people working for them that were supervisees. And then they're like, hey, I want to expand this. I'm like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. You already have the office space. You don't have to increase your expenses at all. Or maybe they were in a location where telehealth virtual was still really, really popular and just adding clinicians wasn't going to cost them a lot more in the sense of office space. So that's always the biggest thing to think about really is office space. Again, this is my opinion. If somebody was like, hey, should I start a virtual practice and try to hire 20 people from, 10 different states? I'd be like, sure, you can try that. It's gonna give you're gonna have a lot of legwork, right? Because you're gonna have to figure out how to get licensed in all of those states. You're gonna have to figure out the tax situation in those states. You're gonna have to work with an accountant that understands working in multiple states. If somebody's like, hey, I'm really well known in my local market, I have the money to open up a brick and mortar and I want to hire 5 people and I accept most major insurances, I'd be like, yes, this is like a no-brainer. You should absolutely probably do that, right? We would look at a business plan, we would look at referrals, et cetera, et cetera. But that business model right now is really booming. The in-person, locally known group practice is absolutely thriving, right? They are getting great reviews. They are getting referrals. The doctors are referring to them. They've got a lot of traffic from Google because there's not that much other competition because people don't just want to do virtual. We're finding at Caring Therapists that there is a large demand for in-office. And so part of our strategic plan is to continue to grow in-office. Even though therapists want to do virtual and they want to keep their expenses low, especially at the solo level, or they want to be home, right? Like they don't want to go into office. Our model is to meet our clients where they're at. And that is absolutely to do in-office availability. Now in Florida, from COVID, we went at, the restrictions went away very fast. People went back to the offices very quick. And so there was only this short period of time where it was really popular to do virtual services solely. In other places, on the West Coast, like California, Oregon, Washington, virtual is still really, really, really popular. So the narrative looks different there. So you also have to know your geographic location. Even though I have worked with people from across the country and into other countries, I know Florida so well that when I do private practice consulting, I can really help people in Florida because I understand. So if you're thinking about starting a group practice, like sure, you can do private practice consulting with me, but I would also talk to other private practice consultants in your state or talk to other group practice owners in your state to understand what they're facing, right? Again, I see therapists with group practices that are virtual in Florida that are not flourishing, let's call it, as much as the in-person. So is it a right time to open a group practice? I'll give you that answer, but first let's thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes. If you are opening a group practice, you need an amazing electronic health record, and I will look into TherapyNotes. It is really designed for a group practice. It gives you great reporting. You can put people as supervisors very easily. You can sign off on notes easily. You can review your supervisee's work. You can bill insurance. You can do a lot of things that make it really easy to run a group practice. Those of you who watch my videos know I love the reporting. I do tons of reporting out of TherapyNotes. It is my favorite thing. And it is so well done for group practices. And they just rolled out Therapy Fuel. They have a free telehealth option. I jumped over Therapy Fuel. Therapy Fuel is the AI function, which is going to help solo practices and group practices send their notes in much faster. So we are very excited about that. So I want you to check out TherapyNotes. So is it the right time to open a group practice? Sure. If you want to open a group practice, you go right ahead, but you do your homework. You write out your business plan. You write out your strategic goals. You figure out the marketing, work with a coach, work with other people, maybe in a mastermind. You can absolutely do it. Mental health is continuing to boom, but you need to know what you're working with. You need to know the plan, and you need to know that you can execute on the thing that you want. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you go live your dreams of starting a group practice. I'll see you soon, everybody. Bye.